can't go on without you. And why you telling me I'm never gonna survive? But once upon a time, yes, I believe.
Hello, everybody. I am Nadia Matthews, author and vision coach. And if you didn't know, I'm telling you, you have to know that you have now tuned into What's on Your Shelf, where we talk to authors about what they're reading and what they're doing. What's on their shelf? Today, we have Nicole Denise. She is going to be talking to us all about publishing. She'll be talking to us about marketing and branding. I'm telling you, I cannot wait. I am probably more excited than you guys are to talk to this young lady because she has a wealth of information, and I know that she is eager to share with you all. If you didn't have an opportunity, please log on to YouTube and listen to the show we had last week with Miss Kristen Wallace, the author of Marry Me. Kristen, if you're listening, we really appreciate you tuning in with us last week and sharing your story and your journey into publishing. We are just so glad that you were able to do that. All right, you guys, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I know I told you last week that I was reading Mudvayne, and I have to be honest with you, I had to put it down. I know that I told you all that it was confusing, and it was. And so I said, I feel like I'm losing brain cells trying to read this book. So I decided to pick up something that was a little bit easier to read. And so currently I am reading The Innovation Secrets of Steve Jobs. Now, I love Steve Jobs. I love everything that he stood for. I love how he was able to take what he was passionate about, and he was able to literally change the world. If you've never been exposed to his book, or any of his books, or any of his things, please go online and definitely get this book. Now, this book is not endorsed by Steve Jobs or anything like that. The author is Carmine Gallo, but he also wrote The Presentation Secrets of Steve Jobs, and I have that as well. If you've had an opportunity to see anything that, anytime that he has been in front of an audience, and how captivating and excellent he is every single time he gets up, anything that he's introducing, he's able to do that. And so that was one of the reasons why I had to read this book. And I'm not all the way through it yet. So I'm reading this book, and I'm also listening, because I think I have ADD as a reader. I'm also listening to Instinct by T.D. Jakes. And if you didn't see the life class that Oprah did with T.D. Jakes, then you're crazy. I mean, hello, YouTube. You have to see it. It's so good. It will change your life. It's definitely transformation thinking, learning how to use what you already have to get to the places where you should be and where God wants you to be. So you guys have to get that on Audible, or definitely get that from your bookstore, and also get The Innovation Secrets of Steve Jobs. All right. So with no further ado, let's go ahead and get into the conversation with Miss Nicole Denise. Now, let me say this before I bring this young lady on. She is the Jamaican, she has 72.9 jobs. She can do anything, and she not only does anything, she does them all well and with excellence, which is unheard of. So I'm going to bring her in, and I want her to tell you all about it. Nicole, are you there?
I am here.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
I am so good, Nicole. Now, please tell our audience, just give them 3 or 4 jobs. They're not ready for all 72.9 jobs that you have. Please tell us what you do, Nicole.
That's so funny, because I'm from down south, so I know plenty of Jamaicans, and I know that they always have like 3,000 jobs.
Right. But you know what? Nicole, I dated a Jamaican once. He didn't have 3,000 jobs. He barely had one. So I think I'm going to stop saying that.
You picked the wrong place. The ones I know.
He wasn't a purebred. He wasn't.
It's everything.
He wasn't a purebred Jamaican. That's what I think.
Yeah. Well, first, I to answer the question, who am I and what do I do? That's like one of the hardest questions, first of all, ever to answer. But I came to the realization that I am a storyteller. And my storytelling capabilities happen through writing. They also happen through photography. They also happen through videography. They also happen through graphic design. And they also happen through public speaking and just being able to share other people's stories through journalism and things of that nature. So I'm a writer first, though, because I hear stories constantly. I always have characters in my mind. I always have book ideas. I'm always reading. I mean, I look back on my childhood and what I found fun, people would call me a nerd for. I read all the Babysitter's Club books. I read all Sweet Valley High. Then I got into Fear Street by R.L. Stine. I read that whole series. And writing and reading have just always been a part of my life. So I decided to say, hey, I should do this full time and make money doing it. So that's where I am right now in my life.
You know, that sounds very similar to me. We may just be sisters because do you remember like the Boxcar Kids? Did you read that? Like of course
I read the Boxcar Kids.
What you know about Boxcar Kids? I
forgot about that series.
Yes. So how did you find that? One of the things that I run into a lot with people is they say, you know, I know that I want to write a book, but I don't know what I want to write about. Was there some specific thing in you that you just knew, okay, I have to write about this, or I have to write this, or can you give us some advice about how to kind of tap into that writing, that author part of us that wants to tell that story?
Well, what I did was I wrote what I knew. Mm-hmm. And I remember I went to a conference in North Carolina, and I was in a workshop conducted by a blind poet.
Wow.
Now, she's like major. She's got like the poet laureate. She's won many awards for what she does. And I remember she said something that has stuck with me, and she said that to write what you know becomes universal. But when you try to write a universal story, like include everything that you believe other people want, that's when your work becomes watered down. So she said, always write your truth, and your truth will always resonate with some audience. So that's what I've always stuck with. I just write what I know. I write what I hear, and I'm an observer by nature, so I hear conversations, and there are certain things people say that trigger story idea or things of that nature. So I say write what you know. And the other thing is write. That's why I wrote the book, because write. People don't write. They say, I want to be a writer. I want to be an author. I have a story to tell. And they talk about writing, but they don't actually physically put butt to chair and write. Mm-hmm. So
yes,
that's what I have to tell people to do.
That's great.
Definitely.
That is great advice. Now, I know you have a nonfiction book. Is there some fiction books out there that I haven't come across yet?
I have not shared yet.
Okay. So you're a closet. Okay, so you're a closet
floating around there.
You're a closet fiction writer. I see it. Mm-hmm. Closet fiction writer. Now, why haven't you shared it with the world?
I am. Say that one more time.
Why haven't you shared it with the world?
I think fiction is one of those things where I'm really kind of not afraid, but you're trying to get to know the characters, and you don't really want people to necessarily know that you know these characters too, if that makes any sense. Like, it's like, okay, because I have like some really ideas that are kind of on the sci-fi side, and people might look at me kind of sideways. Mm-hmm. They're like, where did you and how did this character come about? So that's kind of one of the reasons. But I'm not going to not release it, but I'm still working on and fleshing out those characters so that when I do release it, I can stand behind it fully.
And you said something in the beginning. You said write what you know. So are you sci-fi baby, like, you know, where no one is looking? I am
not. I'm so anti like horror movies, scary movies, but I like things like psychological thrillers. Like, I love to watch a movie where I don't get the end. Like, if I figure it out, I'm done with it. I'm like, womp, womp, womp. I done turned it off. I don't want to know what's going on. There are so many times I'll sit and I'll watch films and I already know what the next line is going to be, and I've never seen it before. So if I can't figure it out, I love that, and I want to write something like that. Like,
that's good.
That's my ultimate goal, to write something like that.
You would like, have you ever heard of Monique Mensah?
No.
She is she's a fiction writer, but her stories have like that plot that you just do not expect. Like, you put the book down and you need about 15 minutes because you can't believe that it turned. You were going in this direction and it just took a left turn that you weren't ready for. She's a really great writer. I think that you would really enjoy her. Was there an author per se that you really looked up to that made you say, okay, I have to write a book. I have to write a book and I have to write it this way?
I wouldn't say a specific author because I glean from so many different authors. I think it's just the writing process itself. I am, for lack of a better word, turned on or, by people that have the gall to write a story down. Like, all these characters are in your head and you decided to put pen to paper and actually publish it. Like, that alone is just like, wow. Because I think it's so important for people to share their stories, and even if you're writing yourself into your characters, like, I just think that's amazing because somewhere that's going to resonate truth with somebody.
Yes.
So I just like the whole process of writing. I don't even necessarily think it's like one specific writer that has inspired me.
So I have to know, tell us all about Write and what your process was to finish that book, to start that book. And we know that you just had to sit down, butt to chair to write. But what else happened internally to get everything down on paper?
Well, I wrote Write because the subtitle is Beginning the Dreadfully Long, Scary, and Invigorating Process of Becoming a Writer. Because writing to me is all those things. It's scary, it's petrifying, but it's also the most fulfilling thing I've ever done in my life. And after reading Stephen Pressfield's Do the Work, it was a really short book. It was probably about 90 pages, and I read it in one sitting. But it was so full of, like, meaty goodness of, getting the job done and talking about how, we resist things that are really for us and things of those nature. But what I took from that, besides what he wrote, was the length of the book. I love that I could sit down, get everything I needed to know, be inspired, and then go to action, within an hour sitting. So I said, I want to start writing these little short books where people can read them, be inspired, but then have time to actually put the plan to action. So that's why I wrote Write. Like, Write is a really short read, and I also needed to get my story out because I've never really fully told my story. So this is the beginning of it. Write tells my story about how I was bitten by the writer's bug, the writing bug, and how I was fearful of my own voice, and how I located my own voice, and how, I jumped into the entrepreneurial aspect of writing, and then also at the end gives tips about how people who would like to follow my footsteps or make their own path towards being a writer, how they go about doing that. And I wanted people to be able to get this in one sitting. So it's not something that takes 12 hours or 13 hours to read, but it's something you can read within an hour, get motivated, and then start writing, because ultimately that's what I want to inspire people to do, to write your story, tell your story.
So how did you handle, because I'll tell you, to be honest, I've written a few books, but the thing that was the hardest to overcome was the opening myself up to other people's criticism of my work. And I know that the reality is I don't write a book for everyone. I know who my target audience is. I know who I'm trying to reach. I know what I'm good at, and I try to stay in my lane. But when you put this thing out and you press enter and you press publish or whatever the case is, that first that first comment, like you're like hanging on the edge of your chair. Like, how did you handle the criticisms when you first put your book out, whether they were positive or negative?
I will first have to say it was my faith in God. Like, specifically, I remember having a dream where it was about, I won't go into the details of the dream, but it was basically about this baby. And the end of the dream, it said, the baby is not yours. And because we think so much that our writing, it's our child, it becomes something that we've birthed and we've nurtured and we've spent time with, and we just think it's ours. But ultimately, that child is not yours. It was cultivated for other people to read. So I just keep that in mind, that once I put this out here, it's no longer mine. Yes, I was the surrogate, so to speak, to nurture this story, but this story was not for me. This story was to go out and inspire other people. And I always say, you've created something great when you've created polarity. So if people have something to say negative or they have something to say positive, I think that's when you know that's the mark of greatness.
Yes.
So I just take it as that. When nobody's saying anything about it, I say you need to go back to the drawing board.
Right.
So,
good.
I just take it as that.
That's good. Nicole, you are giving some great advice. I hope you all are tuning in. When we come back from this next break, we're going to talk to Nicole about what is on her shelf. We're also going to give you guys the phone number, because I heard a little birdie told me that she's going to be giving away a 30-minute publishing consultation. I want to win that one. Really. So I want to make sure that you guys get to call in, ask your questions, and also you guys can join us on Facebook. Please join us on Facebook, and you'll be able to click the link if you don't already have it. You guys will be right back.
Are you in need of a dessert for a special event? Maybe a custom birthday cake. I know, it's your wedding day and you want a cake that will stimulate your taste buds and capture and create the memories for that special day. Well, Sweet Destination should be your choice. Let master sweet designer Montevia Gamble create a unique and delicious cake for your special occasion. But that's not all. Sweet Destination also creates other desserts, from cheesecakes, homemade fudge, brownies, cookies, pies, cake pops, cupcakes, and just about anything that you can think of. So check them out at sweetdestinations.com or on Facebook under Sweet Destinations. Remember, the greatest conversations take place on the road to the sweetest destinations of the human mind. So let's do more than business. Let's make memorable moments. We are Sweet Destinations.
Everyone needs a way to add gold to their financial portfolio. Carrot Bars International makes gold affordable to the masses with the freegoldplan.com. Get gold in 24-karat 999.9% pure gold bullion in small, affordable weights. Save your money in gold and even get paid to share with others how to do the same. No broker fees, no setup fees, and with referrals, your gold can be free. Go to thefreegoldplan.com. That's thefreegoldplan.com now.
Tap Out Studios of Hollywood is one of Atlanta's newest visual and performing arts centers designed for you to perfect your creativity. Our 3,000 square foot event space includes a full bar, VIP section, movie screen, and 2 stages. Take advantage of our Spring Fling package deal for new and existing clients. Save over 40% when you rent our venue for $700 for events with more than 100 people. For booking information, contact Kendra at 404-578-1454. Located less than a half a mile off of I-20 off Fulton Industrial, we are Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, 620 Interchange Drive. Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, inspiring creativity, changing lives, and making dreams come true.
Lisa, you've been staring at that computer screen for 30 minutes. What's wrong?
Oh, it's my new marketing campaign. I want to tell people how great my business is, but I don't know what to say. I need copy for the website, newsletters, and brochure, and I'm drawing a blank. Writing just isn't my thing.
My boss had the same problem, and he called Put It in Writing Professional Writing Service.
Put it in writing? What's that?
It's a business just for people who need copywriting, but don't have the budget for the big marketing and PR firms. They helped my company tell tell everyone about the great products and services we offer through our website. And when my cousin recorded his CD, put it in writing, wrote his bio and press release. They even do resumes.
That's good to know, because I'll be looking for a job if this business doesn't take off.
Don't worry. Call the professionals at Put It in Writing at 901-359-6629 and check out the website at putitinwriting2.com. That's Put It in Writing, the numeral 2.com.
Welcome back to What's on Your Shelf with me. I am Nadia Matthews, author and vision coach. And I just have to call today, Why Not Wednesday? I was in the shower today and I was thinking about what I was going to say. And don't listen, don't look at the screen funny, because everybody knows you have the best ideas in the world when you're in the shower. I don't know why, but I mean, I come up with like Barack Obama ideas when I'm in the shower, like presidential type stuff. When I'm in the shower, I have these great nuggets and things that hit me. But why not Wednesday? Why haven't you started that book? Why haven't you started that business? Why haven't you tapped and launched out into the things that you really want to do? What are you waiting for? Because if it's fear, you're never going to conquer the fear unless you approach it and move past it. I promise you, once you do it, once you open your mouth, once you start the business, once you get the business plan, I'm telling you, you will be successful. Fear is nothing but an illusion. So this is Why Not Wednesday. And since we have on the line Miss Nicole Denise, she is author and publisher and marketer and brander. She does everything. I think that she would definitely be able to give you all some insight on how to get started. So before we go into what's on her shelf, because I cannot wait to hear what she's reading, I want her to read an excerpt from her book, Right. Nicole, do you have that?
I do.
All right. Please share it with our audience.
I'm actually going to read the introduction to you guys, but I think it sums up everything in a nutshell. So, again, the name of this book is Right, Beginning the Dreadfully Long, Scary, and Invigorating Process of Becoming a Writer. Writing sucks. In fact, it's a dreadfully hard process. But when in the hands of someone who absolutely adores the craft, writing is one of the most fulfilling things on the planet. To share your voice through the channel of writing is liberating. It's the ultimate cathartic experience. Purging or purifying, however, is never fun, glamorous, or fulfilling as it's happening. In intense writing moments, you'll experience every emotion and question your every intention and purpose. You will believe that you absolutely fell off the pie truck and are in need of a psychiatric evaluation. You'll scrap ideas, fill endless notebooks, and depressingly stare at blank pages and computer screens. In fact, you will spend more time daydreaming about writing than actually writing. It's a ride on an unyielding roller coaster that only the diehard should attempt. Writing is not for the faint at heart because it is both suffocating and liberating. If you are reading this book, that is, you've made it through all of that aforementioned jazz, you just may have what it takes to begin the journey. You've willingly mounted this horsey. Time to giddy up. And that's how I start, because I think I've read so many writing books where people add all this fluff like, oh, this is going to be a great experience, and you're going to just pump out that book in 30 days, and you're going to have a best-selling novel, you're going to be on the New York Times best-selling list, and that is not the case. Writing is like, but when you're called to do it, you have to do it. It's like air. I have to do it.
Yes.
So
let's go ahead and debunk this thing that's out. And I'm so sorry because I'm probably going to offend quite a few people when I say this, but the people who keep coming out with this, write the next bestseller in 30 days, in 22 minutes, you will write this. That is so not true. You will not do it. And if you do it, I don't want it. I don't want to read
Right.
your book that you wrote in 22 minutes because it's not going to be
Right.
good. It's not going to be well thought out. It's not going to be well developed. The thing that you said, Nicole, and I tell clients all the time is you have to just do it. You have to commit to it. And like you say, you have to just dump it all out that you have on paper or on the computer or whatever the case is and get to it. And the thing is commitment. You know, so this whole, I'm going to write a book in 30 days. Maybe if you're locked up in a cabin with ramen noodles being fed through your, through your veins intravenously, maybe you can write a novel in 30 days, but it's not going to be very good. So please stop telling people you're going to write a book in 7 days. It's not a good idea. You probably could do it. It's not going to be good though. No one's going to read it. So, so let's move on. Nicole, tell us what's on your shelf.
What is on my shelf? Okay, first of all, my shelf is always overstuffed with stuff. So that's why I went and bought me a Nook so that I can have like an electronic bookshelf as well, but I still love turning the pages of books. So right now, and then also I heard you say earlier that you may have ADD when it comes to reading.
I do.
I am always reading at least 5 books at once.
Okay, I don't feel bad anymore.
So, of the 5 books that I'm currently reading right now, Instincts by T.D. Jakes is what I'm reading currently today. And I'm also reading The Desire Map by Danielle Laporte. And I want to go into this for a little bit. I really love this book because she talks about, the subtitle is A Guide to Creating Goals with Soul. And the main question she asks throughout this book is, how do you want to feel? Like, so many people make goals like 5-year plans. By this time, I'm going to have this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be married, I'm going to have kids. But it's not the thing. She teaches that it's not the thing that you're going after. It's the feeling of the thing. So she says if you can ultimately narrow it down to what you want to feel, you'll start making goals that mirror that. So one of your goals, your desires may be to feel free or feel liberated or feel powerful or feel extremely feminine or extremely masculine. And she's saying create goals to those areas instead of saying, external goals like I want to have $1 million in the bank by April 15th. Instead of doing that, because she says we lose ourselves in that strive and we don't feel good once we obtain it. So she's saying feel good throughout the whole process because feeling good is the goal. So I love that about this book. And I'm also reading, I'm looking at my bookshelf right at this moment. I'm also reading Money, A Love Story by Kate Northrup. That's a really good book. And she also talks about, how to get your finances together. But she does it from a emotional/psychological/conscious framework. She doesn't say, save $500 and, the typical stuff. She talks about how you create your money situation by how you feel about yourself, and usually it comes from a feeling of being unworthy. So she talks about how to overcome that state of being. I am also reading, I read a couple things. I'm also reading Charlotte's Web.
Really?
I am. Because one thing I noticed about myself, I used to be really big in fiction when I was younger, like when I named all the books in the beginning. But now I see myself as a nonfiction, aholic. So I'm trying to really get back into fiction, so I'm going back to those fiction books that I loved as a child. So I'm rereading Charlotte's Web, and I'm also reading Ernest Gaines' A Lesson Before Dying, which is one of my favorite books by Ernest Gaines. So
all of those sound very, very good. And you talked about the Desire Map, which I just posted on my Facebook page for those of you who are asking me where the heck I can get that book. I just posted it on my Facebook page. But listen, I want to know, what are some of your goals? What are some of the goals that you have for yourself that you can share with us?
That's the thing. That's a hard question, but an easy question. And the easy answer to that is ultimately I want to be fulfilled by what I feel I was purposed to do. So I want to be able to share stories with the world, you know, whether it be through film or whether it be through books or whether it be through conferences or whether it be through journalism by interviewing other people and sharing their stories, but just getting stories out in the world, specifically women's stories, which is why I started the She Just Writes movement, because I think that women's voices are underutilized and sometimes taken for granted. So I wanted to create and develop a platform where women had free range to show just exactly who they are through their writing or through their, you know, just through their storytelling in whatever avenues. So ultimately I want to be fulfilled in that area where I feel as though I'm waking up every day and I'm doing what I believe I was purposed to do. So that's probably my ultimate goal. And then sharing that with whoever is purposed to be in my life, whether that comes through a husband, whether that comes through a circle of friends, whether that comes through a circle of, you know, different people, just great relationships, great people as we just go forth and meet this common goal of wanting to be fulfilled by living our life's purpose.
I love that. What do you feel like is your greatest challenge to achieving that?
My greatest challenge is getting over me. Like, and when I say that, it's getting over the things I've been conditioned to believe about myself. Like, we have so many things, like from childhood and just from rearing, and even well-intentioned people, they may give your opinion. They're like, oh, I see this in you. And that's not necessarily for you, even though they may see that for you. So I've been unlearning a lot of things and really getting to know myself, because I am the only person who holds my destiny in my hands. So until I'm able to get over those fears and over those incorrect teachings for my life, I won't be able to accomplish and be fulfilled. So that's the thing that I have to get over. I have to get over those things, those hang-ups, those beliefs that says I'm not good enough, or why am I even trying to do this? Oh, you call yourself a writer. Who's going to really read what you have to say? You know, who really cares? I have to get over those type of, you know, self-deprecating thoughts and teachings. So yeah, that's the biggest thing.
You and I had the pleasure of attending a conference on Saturday where we had an opportunity to sit and listen to Relevant, Exposing the Spirit of Betrayal with Lady Keisha Randolph, life design coach. And that was one of the things that she talked about during her message, was finding what your relevance is in situations. And when you understand your relevance, then you're not concerned with what the naysayers say anyway, or, you know, what I mean? Because you see what you're supposed to do. I don't know about you, but one of my main takeaways was everything that I have done in my life and everything that I have been through makes me relevant to what I'm doing right now. So it definitely takes the bitterness and resentment and anger away when I understand I am relevant to this because of the hurt or the pain or whatever. What were some of the things that you took from what she said that you are really going to be able to apply when it comes to writing your next book?
I would have to agree with you with what you said, and I just think that we're all on this search for what is the point of it all. And I think when you have that perspective, like you just said, where you say everything that has built up to this moment, then it now has a point. It was a reason for it, you know. So now you can take away those, you know, depression feelings or those feelings of I can't believe I did this, or regrets or things of that nature, and you can say, oh, this was all leading up to a point. So I'm definitely going to continue to stay in that headspace where all things are working together for my good, because they all were working together for this common goal of me being fulfilled.
Yes.
So that's what I'm going to definitely take away from that, and just continue to just write and do it without fear. And even if the fear is there, I'm going to do it anyway.
Yes.
And that's another thing that I'm learning, because I am relevant. And then even how she broke down and she said, when we become relevant to different situations, if we decide to, I guess, stifle our relevance how we're affecting other people along the line, because there's people waiting for our message.
Yes.
And so you can't withhold what's been given to you because you feel unworthy or you have low self-esteem or you have all of these different hang-ups. So I just learned to just say it anyway.
Yes.
Whether it comes out, whether it doesn't come out correctly or according to the status quo or politically correct, I just say it, I just do it, and then let the chips fall where they may, because it's all going to lead up to the point of why I'm here in the first place.
Awesome. Yes, girl, and now the entire time, I don't know, and Oprah calls it the aha moment, and just for those of you who are tuning in,
Right.
This is What's on Your Shelf with Nadia Matthews, and let me tell you something, I absolutely love Oprah, so let me just say that, I feel
Right.
like she is my mom, and so anyway, she gave me up for adoption, and she forgot me. It's okay, Oprah, if you're listening to Sky City Talk Radio right now, I'm still waiting for you to call me, and I'm not angry, but, Saturday, I had a lot of aha moments when Lady Keisha Randolph was talking, because I was like, that's right. Yes. Like, that makes so much sense to why I'm in and why I don't understand and why I felt this feeling or this pull this way or that way. So it was a great experience. We're going to go to another break, but when we come back, Nicole is going to talk to us about publishing, because we could talk about all that other stuff all day long, but my audience has been just reaching out to me about publishing. So Nicole Denise is going to tell us the process of publishing, and I think she's going to tell us how we can publish for free when we come back.
This has been a day I want to forget. From not finding my keys, to running late for my big meeting, then having the client cancel the meeting, to my boss wanting to revamp the entire proposal this weekend. This is really a day for a hot tub and a big glass of my Tranquility wine.
The skilled winemakers of Countryside Vineyards craft quality muscadine grapes into fine wine. Known for their distinctive flavors and characters, these hybrid southern grapes create a sweet class of robust wine. So the next time you're out, ask for Tranquility Wines or order yours online today by visiting them at floridavineyard.com.
Now this is just what I needed. Tranquility Wine. Why can't everything be this relaxing?
Tranquility Wines, for those times when nothing else matters. Please enjoy responsibly, and remember, you must be 21 years old to drink. Are you in need of a dessert for a special event? Maybe a custom birthday cake. I know, it's your wedding day and you want a cake that will stimulate your taste buds and capture and create the memories for that special day. Well, Sweet Destination should be your choice. Let Master Sweet Designer Montevia Gamble create a unique and delicious cake for your special occasion. But that's not all. Sweet Destination also creates other desserts, from cheesecakes, homemade fudge, brownies, cookies, pies, cake pops, cupcakes, and just about anything that you can think of. So check them out at sweetdestinations.com or on Facebook under Sweet Destinations. Remember, the greatest conversations take place on the road to the sweetest destinations of the human mind. So let's do more than business. Let's make memorable moments. We are Sweet Destinations.
Honey, what are we going to do with all these bills? It doesn't make any sense. We make more than enough money to cover everything, but we're still in a hole.
Let's check out Madam Money.
Madam Money? Who is that?
She is a financial expert who helps people like us set and reach our financial goals.
This is great. With her help, we can do all the things that we talked about.
That's right. Now we can take that vacation we've always wanted and not feel stressed.
Hi, this is Tara Jackson, also known as Madam Money, and I can help you clear up all of your financial dis-eases and those pesky financial STDs.
See, this is why I love you.
Yes, I know.
So check out Madam Money online at tarajackson.com. TARRA Jackson.com. Tap Out Studios of Hollywood is one of Atlanta's newest visual and performing arts centers designed for you to perfect your creativity. Our 3,000 square foot event space includes a full bar, VIP section, movie screen, and 2 stages. Take advantage of our Spring Fling package deal for new and existing clients. Save over 40% when you rent our venue for $700 for events with more than 100 people. For booking information, contact Kendra at 404-578-1454. Located less than a half a mile off of I-20 off Fulton Industrial, we are Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, 620 Interchange Drive. Tap Out Studios of Hollywood, inspiring creativity, changing lives, and making dreams come true.
We are back with What's on Your Shelf. We have Nicole Denise. She is going to be talking to us all about publishing. Trust me, for those of you who have inboxed me, I will have the link on the site. For those of you who have missed the beginning of the show, do not fret. I have the baddest producer in Atlanta. He will have the link up to me in no time, and we will have it after the show, so you will not miss anything. All right, so without further ado, Nicole, please, the first question I get asked all the time about publishing, what is the difference between traditional publishing and self-publishing?
Traditional publishing is generally when you write a query letter to a publisher like HarperCollins, or you write a book, like the books you see in the bookstore. Mm-hmm. You write a letter, and they tell you whether or not they like your book, and if they accept your book, they give you this advance, and you write the book, and then they publish it for you. They basically take on all the expenses for you to do the publication, and then you get a royalty from that. Self-publishing is you take on all the roles. So you take on graphic designer, marketer, everything that this traditional publishing house would do, an editor and all those things, and then you do it yourself, and you basically pocket all the profit. So that's the way I see those two different aspects of things.
All right. Next question is, what will I be able to get on the shelf if I'm a self-published author? In the bookstores, when I say shelf.
When you say on the shelf, like today is like, nowadays, on the shelf can be digital as well. So I would have to say yes. Now, if you're looking to be in a Barnes & Noble or something like that, I would also have to say yes. But the way it may, the road to getting to that may be a little bit more difficult, because places like that are looking for this huge marketing budget and things of that nature, and sometimes self-publishers don't have that. But what I have heard of is people self-publishing their books, doing so well that major publishing houses take notice, and they are willing to come in, make contracts, negotiate contracts, and actually republish your book under their
companies
publication house, right, on their publication house, and then, you know, you make even more money from that. So I say either way, you can be on the shelf and you can have success. I just think it all boils down to doing things with excellence. Absolutely. And a lot of people, self-publishing gets a bad rap because a lot of people don't put the time and effort needed into creating an excellent product, and that's the issue.
And one of the things I found, and first of all, for that person, it's called distribution. And the reason why some of the larger distribution companies won't pick up the books is because it's the supply demand type thing. So if we put your book in the store and someone purchases your book, well, how are we going to get more books? So that's another thing too, because when they're in these Barnes and Nobles and all of these different places. They're factories with these books in them. So if someone buys your book and they're coming in and they're asking for the book, they can't get it because it's going to take 5 to 7 days. You lose business. So they're not going to. They generally don't like to work with self-published authors. Now, I know one of the other things that you could do. I want to say that it's Barnes and Noble. So they do take self-published authors, but they ask you to send them 10, 20, 30 copies of the book with your marketing plan, how you want the book placed. So you have to do a lot of research and you have to put together a plan, which you should do anyway. Even if you're self-publishing a book, you need to have a marketing plan before you even put the book out. So when they're asking for that information, it should be very easy to put that together and send to them. And then you have to decide, Nicole, I always say you need to know what you're trying to, why you want to do it. What's your motive behind doing it? If you're writing a book because you want to be on the New York Times bestsellers list, you can actually pay your way to the top of the New York Times bestseller list. You don't have to. People don't just have to buy it. You can actually pay for it. And then you have to do the research. At the end of the day, it's all about doing the research and what do you want to come out of you publishing the book. All right. So the next question I get is about Kindle and where's the best place to put my self-published book? Is it going to be Amazon? Is it Barnes and Noble online? Is it Lulu? Is it CreateSpace? Can you give us a little bit of input about where you feel like people will be able to get the best sales and the best royalties?
I think that, first of all, that's a preference choice. Now, when I speak for myself, I'll talk about print and then ebooks. For me, print books, I love CreateSpace because they are a company of Amazon. And Amazon is the biggest shopping arena on earth right now. Mm-hmm. So everybody buys everything through Amazon. So with that, you get with CreateSpace, you get the distribution of Amazon. And I want to say that the royalties, don't quote me, I think they're like 75% or something like that.
They're 70.
Okay, 70% per sale. And I just like the interface of CreateSpace because it's pretty self-explanatory. It's kind of like upload your cover here, upload your manuscript here. Okay, press publish. It's very user-friendly. So that's why I like CreateSpace. And then you're immediately open to this huge Amazon marketplace where you can now, get your book out to the masses. But also that plan has to be in place because you can publish a book, you can do everything, you can do all the bells and whistles, but if you have not told anybody or created an actual marketing strategy of how you're going to tell people that you've written this book, none of that really matters. So that's always important first before you even go to any platform. But as far as ebooks, I actually recommend Smashwords. And Smashwords is a platform where you upload your book and then it distributes it to Barnes and Noble, iBooks, but the Apple, and it's like a whole bunch of other different distributors that it also goes through. The only one it does not do is Kindle. So if you want to be a part of the Amazon family for ebooks, then you have to upload separately to Kindle. But those are my 3 recommendations. I say CreateSpace, I say Kindle, and I say Smashwords. So that's what I recommend.
Okay, so I have a budget. Okay, so my producer's telling me I have 10 minutes and I got 75 juicy questions. So I'm going to try to, I need you to fill this answer up. Okay, so I have $0. Okay, and I have this really great book and I feel like it's going to be awesome and people are going to love it. Can you tell me how I can get my book done for free or even if that's possible?
Okay, so you've written the book. My number one thing is, I know you only have $0, but you have to get that book edited. You have to have another pair of eyes on it, even if it's just one other pair of eyes. So if you find somebody like a friend or somebody who's an English major or they love English, who can look over that book and help you get that book ready for print, I would recommend that first. If you don't have an editing buddy or anybody that you could do that with, I say take your book, put it in and print it out on the hard copy and then read it aloud, because you'll hear mistakes that you've made throughout the book. So once the book is edited, I say you have to go get you a title. I mean, not a title, a cover. So the cheapest cover designs, I say you can go to a website called Fiverr. Everything's $5. I know you said you had $0.
I got $0.
You have at least $5.
I can find $5.
Okay, right. I think somebody could borrow $5, or if you have Photoshop, you can create your own book cover. And I recommend looking at book covers that you like and kind of not necessarily copying, but making sure that your book falls in the same family as far as imaging when you're trying to compete with other books in your genre. So I say make sure your cover is up to par, because they say don't judge a book by its cover, but we judge books by its cover.
Absolutely.
So,
yes.
So once you have that, I say the layout. The layout is going to be the trickiest part, and it's actually the part that I dread, but I know how to do it. So you can do your layout for print in Word document. You can also do it in, what's the name of the Adobe program? InDesign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can do it in all those different programs. So I say figure out how to do that. And then you upload to a POD, which is the print on demand company, which is the platform that I went over previously. That means that you get paid once a book is, hold on, let me start over. When somebody orders a book, they print that book then, and then they ship it out to that person. So it's not like you have a stockpile of books somewhere. So it's called print on demand. So as soon as the demand comes in, they print the book, they send it to the customer, they worry about all the customer service stuff. You get paid once your book is paid for by the customer. And that's all. That's what I recommend. I say do that, and then also just market. And that's all I can recommend. You just market.
Yes. And you have to tell everybody. And the other thing is, you write a book, the first thing is going to happen the first week, everyone's going to, your family and your friends are going to buy your book, and that is great, and you want to give them a big giant hug, but you need more than your cousin, sister, uncle, twice removed to buy your book. You need to reach every Facebook friend, every Twitter follower, wherever you are, Instagram, all of that. Being a social butterfly when you are a self-published author, that is your friend. Connecting with other authors is also very good as well. Doing what I'm doing now, calling Nadia or emailing me at info@NadiaMatthewsSpeaks.com and say, Nadia, I want to get on that show, girl. Those are all great. Plug to Nadia. Those are all great ways to increase your people, your circle of influence, because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you are reaching a vast audience with your book. Nicole, I have really enjoyed having you on today. You are super informative and a great interview. Definitely,
thank you very much.
Yes, and we've got a couple more minutes. He told me I have a couple more minutes. He's just so awesome, this Roy with Sky City. I want to announce the winner of the 30-minute consultation is going to be Mr. Lionel Lewis. He reached out to me on yesterday about you, and really wanted to know a lot about the interview and what we're going to be talking about. And so I'm really glad. So Lionel, I know that you are listening. I will make sure that I know you're going to inbox me in about 2.5 seconds too to say yay. So
all right, Lionel,
I will make sure that you have all of Nicole's information, and she is a great tool. Now listen, you only get 29.5 minutes. After that, it's hourly, because that's what she does. She got to get a check, because that's the other thing about self-publishing. You know, a lot of us are not working full-time mainstream jobs, so we would like to give you free advice, but we're not. So we don't want to eat ramen noodles. We want some chicken too. So you're going to need to, we are available for hire. All right. Tell us, Nicole, how we can reach you, and tell us she writes the website and all of the information.
Actually, the best contact information for me is info@NicoleDenise.org. And if you visit NicoleDenise.org, it leads to all of my other websites. So it'll lead to SheJustWrites.net. It'll lead to WhiteSpacePublishing.com. and will lead to every other thing that I'm doing. So I say info@NicoleDenise.org is the best contact information for me.
Awesome. Well, it has been a pleasure. You all, everyone's been tuning into What's on Your Shelf. For those of you who want to reach out to me, I love to socialize. Don't be afraid. Please reach out. You can find me at NadiaMatthewsSpeaks.com. That Matthews is with 1 T. So once you hit that, you can hit everywhere else. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I pretty much do nothing but social media. I'm just kidding. So you all can reach me there. It has been a pleasure to talk to everyone. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to email me, and I'll make sure that you guys are on the next show. Tune in next week when we talk to Miss Barbara Joe. She has about 13 novels. Yes, I said 13. And she is also a wealth of information. She also has a publishing company, so I'm sure that she's going to be giving us some great tidbits and some tips. It has been a pleasure, and we will see you next week.